What truly makes a champion in college football today? Is it raw talent? Is it the roar of the crowd, or the plays that make highlight reels? Or could it be something much harder to measure? Something that doesn't show up on the scoreboard? The truth is, in today's world of college football, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is perseverance. Talent may open the door, but perseverance is what keeps an athlete in the game when everything seems stacked against them. Think about it. Every Saturday, millions tune in to watch young athletes chase victory under blinding stadium lights. But behind every touchdown and every celebration lies a hidden story. Long nights in the training room, endless rehab sessions after devastating injuries, pressure to balance academics and athletics, and the mental weight of carrying a team's hopes on your shoulders. These stories rarely make the headlines, yet they are the very essence of what makes champions. In the past few months alone, we've seen powerful reminders of what perseverance looks like in real time. Texas running back C.J. Baxter battled back from a major knee injury that threatened to derail his career. Michigan captain Rod Moore fought his way back from a torn ACL, relearning trust in his own body just to step back onto the field. And teams like the Michigan Wolverines proved that even as underdogs, resilience can topple giants when belief and perseverance collide. This is the heartbeat of college football today. It's not just about who scores the most points. It's about who refuses to quit when the odds turn against them. It's about young men discovering that the hardest battles aren't just against their opponents, but against doubt, pain, and the temptation to give up. So as we dive into today's stories, remember this: every champion you see on the field is built not only by strength and skill, but by moments of quiet perseverance when no one was watching. And in those moments, greatness is forged. When most people think about college football today, they think about wins and losses. They think about rankings, playoffs, rivalries, and the chase for national championships. But if you look closer, beyond the scoreboard and the stat sheets, you'll discover a much deeper reality. College football is a mirror of life itself, filled with the same challenges, setbacks, and battles we all face. For student athletes, the journey is far from easy. These young men are not only competing at one of the highest levels of sport, but they're also carrying the weight of expectations both on and off the field. Injuries are constant threats. One wrong step can change an entire season, sometimes even a career. Behind the scenes, the grind of rehabilitation is long, lonely, and brutal. And yet, time after time, we see players fight their way back with a determination that inspires anyone watching. But physical pain is only one part of the struggle. Academics demand their focus too. Essays, exams, and long nights of study stacked on top of punishing practice schedules. The stress is relentless, and the pressure to perform in both classrooms and stadiums is unlike anything most of us will ever experience. Then there's the mental health battle. The constant spotlight of social media, endless media coverage, and the brutal scrutiny from fans can take a toll. Every dropped pass, every missed tackle, every mistake is magnified and replayed, not just on highlight reels but across the internet. Imagine being 19 or 20 years old and having thousands of strangers judge your worth after a single play. On top of all this comes the uncertainty of the transfer portal and nil deals. Players today aren't just athletes. They're navigating careers, finances, and decisions that could shape their futures before they've even graduated. The weight of those choices adds yet another layer to the pressure cooker of college football. And yet, it is inside this crucible of pressure that champions are made. These challenges, the injuries, the academic grind, the media noise, the mental battles, are not setbacks to fear, but the very forge where perseverance is tested and true champions are created. When we talk about perseverance in college football today, it's not just a motivational buzzword. It is real, it is raw, and it's written into the lives of players who refuse to let setbacks define them. You see it in athletes who lose what they love most, fight through months of pain, and come back stronger than before. Take C.J. Baxter of Texas. A knee injury sidelined him and threatened to change everything about his career. For any athlete, that kind of setback isn't only physical, it's emotional. It's waking up knowing your teammates are out there competing while you're stuck in a training room, relearning how to move, rebuilding step by step. The hours are long, the progress is slow, and doubt is always waiting to whisper that maybe you'll never be the same again. But Baxter refused to surrender. What carried him wasn't just his own strength, but the people and stories around him. He leaned on his girlfriend, Mia Scott, who had gone through her own devastating knee injury while playing softball for Texas. She came back to win a national championship, and her resilience became his reminder that setbacks are temporary, not permanent. He also turned to the biblical story of Job, a man who lost everything yet held on through faith and perseverance. These anchors gave Baxter the courage to push through the lonely days of rehab. And now, as he steps back onto the field, he carries more than restored strength. He carries perspective, gratitude, and proof that perseverance creates champions. Another powerful example comes from Michigan defensive back Rod Moore. Before the 2024 season even began, he suffered a torn ACL, an injury that can feel like a death sentence for a football career. Overnight, the season he had worked so hard for was gone. When football is your identity, when it's what you've given your life to, losing it forces a painful question. Who am I without the game? Moore had to face that reality. Months of surgery and rehab followed, and with them the quiet mental battles. But instead of fading into the background, Moore became a captain in a different way. From the sidelines, he poured into his teammates, guiding the younger players, keeping the locker room steady. Leadership isn't always about the plays you make on the field. Sometimes it's about the strength you give others when you can't suit up yourself. Now, after months of grueling recovery, he's cleared to play again. His return is not just physical, it's a story of learning to trust again. Trusting his rebuilt knee. Trusting his body to hold up. Trusting that his best days aren't behind him. That kind of trust doesn't come overnight. It comes through perseverance, through pushing past fear, and through believing when belief feels fragile. These stories show us that perseverance is not loud. It doesn't always roar in stadiums. It lives in the unseen hours of sacrifice, in the moments when no one is watching, when giving up feels easier but you choose to keep moving forward. That's what C.J. Baxter and Rod Moore represent. And their lessons stretch far beyond the field. Because in life, just like in football, your perseverance in private battles is what creates your public victories. Perseverance in college football is never just about one player. Sometimes it's about entire teams, and sometimes it's about individuals who quietly fight battles that most people will never see. That's exactly what makes stories like Plae Wyatt's and the Michigan Wolverines unforgettable. For nearly a year, Plae Wyatt of Rice University lived in the shadows of recovery. A devastating knee injury had taken him off the field, and with it came 364 days of pain, uncertainty, and isolation. Injuries don't just attack the body, they chip away at confidence, at rhythm, at identity. Every morning Wyatt had to choose whether to surrender to frustration or to face another grueling round of rehab. The reality of that choice is brutal, because progress doesn't come in leaps. It comes in inches. Some days it feels like you're standing still, other days it feels like you're going backwards. But Wyatt kept showing up. That consistency turned into transformation. When he finally returned, he wasn't just another player eager to get back into the rotation. He came back as a veteran voice, someone who had walked through fire and emerged with perspective. His time away forced him to see the game differently, to study the system more deeply, to understand leadership not just as performance but as influence. Now, when Wyatt steps onto the field, he's more than a defensive back, he's a symbol of resilience. His presence reminds teammates that perseverance isn't glamorous, but it builds leaders who inspire by example. And then there's Michigan. College football has always been about more than talent. It's about belief. In the 2024 season, the Wolverines carried the weight of expectations, but also the doubt of critics who believed they couldn't overcome the losses they faced. Under first-year head coach Sharon Moore, the team found itself in the role of underdog more than once. Against Ohio State, against Alabama, they were counted out. Odds makers labeled them double-digit underdogs. Analysts doubted them. Fans questioned whether they could rise to the moment. But what unfolded was a lesson in resilience. Michigan didn't just show up, they refused to back down. Every snap was played with grit, every drive fueled by a belief that no challenge was too great. And when the final whistle blew, they had toppled giants. Those victories weren't just upsets, they were proof that perseverance at the team level can rewrite history. What separated them wasn't just skill, it was the refusal to let doubt dictate their destiny. The beauty of these stories is how they converge on the same truth. Whether it's an individual like Wyatt enduring 364 days of recovery or a team like Michigan standing firm against impossible odds, the message is the same. Perseverance is the hidden engine of greatness. It doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees that no setback will be the end of the story. College football today is filled with highlight plays, roaring crowds, and dramatic finishes. But the real drama, the real lessons, are found in stories like these. They remind us that the essence of the game isn't only in the victories we see on Saturdays, but in the perseverance that makes those victories possible. And that is why champions are born long before they ever lift a trophy. Perseverance teaches us that setbacks are not the end of the road, but the beginning of transformation. Every athlete we've looked at, whether it was C.J. Baxter, Rod Moore, Plae Wyatt, or the Michigan Wolverines, has lived this truth. Their injuries, doubts, and uphill battles became the very fuel that propelled them forward. What could have been a stopping point became a turning point. And that's the first lesson. Setbacks are fuel for comebacks. The second lesson is that resilience is not forged in front of the cameras. It's not in the roar of the crowd or the celebration of victory. It's built in silence. In the weight room long before dawn, in the lonely hours of rehab, in the quiet moments when nobody is watching. That's when resilience is tested, and that's when it grows. The spotlight only reveals the strength that was built in the shadows. And third, football mirrors life in a way few sports can. The effort required, the pain endured, the growth demanded, it all translates to the challenges we face off the field. Life, like football, is not a straight path. There will be hits that knock you down, moments where you feel outmatched, and seasons where nothing seems to go your way. But just as these athletes have shown, what matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you rise. So what does this mean for you? It means that the challenges you're facing right now, the disappointments, the obstacles, the doubts, are not there to destroy you. They're there to shape you. They're your training ground, your forge, your silent classroom where perseverance is teaching you to become stronger. Like these athletes, your path to victory may not be easy. But every struggle you endure, every obstacle you push through, and every moment you choose not to quit is building something inside you that no one can take away. And one day, when your moment comes, the world will see the strength you built in silence. In college football today, perseverance doesn't just win games, it creates champions for life. The stories we've explored prove that greatness is not built in moments of comfort, but in moments of struggle. It's forged in the injuries that demand patience, in the setbacks that demand courage, and in the doubts that demand faith. Every player who fights their way back onto the field, every team that rises against the odds, reminds us of a powerful truth. Resilience is the ultimate victory. Wins and losses fade with time, but the character built through perseverance lasts forever. So as you think about your own journey, remember this: your struggles are not there to break you, but to build you. Your setbacks are not the end of the story, they are the chapters that lead to your comeback. And just like these athletes, your perseverance can create a champion inside you. If this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe, like, and share, because resilience is a message worth spreading.